Hello, and you are listening to FPcast, the official podcast for Fruitless Pursuits, where we bullshit about the week in pop culture. I'm Luke.
And I'm Jacinta.
And this week we're talking about...
Movies, television, collectibles, video games, comics, books, board games, and more.
Clovers.
Sausages.
Oh, God. Yeah. It was St. Patrick's Day this week just gone. So Clover really has a double meaning.
Yeah, we roamed around the Cloverfield today.
We did.
Went to, I believe, Google Maps placed it at around, it's maybe number 10, Cloverfield Lane.
Yes.
So expect a kind of review of that.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to review, but we'll see. We'll see how we go.
We're not going to open the mystery box. We're just going to poke around and read what's written on the sides.
Only with its consent, though.
That's true.
You don't poke in somebody's box without their consent.
Absolutely. Always.
Unless
consent
you're Madonna, apparently, according to the news this week.
Key. Holy crap. Look, you're just rifling through so many different topics all at once. Just like skimming the top of them and then colliding into another one.
We're just like skipping a little stone right across the top of all these different topics.
Yes. Yes. Stone skipping with Luke and Jacinta. Ching, 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 just all along and not really talk about anything with any real substance. We are going to review Cloverfield Lane. We're going to do some preliminary thoughts on Netflix's second season of Daredevil because everybody should have had a little bit of opportunity to dip their toe into those very murky waters. You know, I have to actually turn all the lights off in order to watch it on my computer on Netflix.
Okay.
Because if there's a light on, it reflects off the screen and I can't see shit.
I actually, when I was getting, about this time last year, when I was getting my tattoos done, I knew I was going to be there for a couple of hours, so I'd put Daredevil on my iPad, and I couldn't watch the fucking thing, because all I could see was a reflection of the lights, a reflection of my face in the screen. I'm like, I don't want to see my fucking face. I want to see Matt Murdock getting punched in the head.
And it would have been very confusing, because you were there, and people, obviously this is audio, wouldn't know this. You got Charlie Cox's face tattooed on your face.
Well, I did.
So you didn't know what you were looking at, essentially.
It was crazy.
You were thinking, God, this guy works fast.
I know.
Or is it Charlie himself? What is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
A mystery.
Yeah, and ever since then, I've just wanted to make out with myself every time I looked in the mirror.
No, well,
It's been really weird.
that I can relate to. So, we're going to talk about Daredevil. We're going to talk about that. And a whole slew. Was it a slew?
A slew, yeah.
I think it was a slew.
Hopefully not a slurry.
Not a slurry?
No, slew's probably a
You're
couple
not
of steps up.
slurry shaming, are you?
No.
Okay. A whole slew of trailers. I don't mean like full of rednecks. I mean movie picture shorts. Moving picture shorts.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't mean the sorts of shorts
With moving pictures on them?
that have moving pictures on due to...
Did you know like, maybe one day, like many years in the future, if they have like GIF shorts... Imagine that.
That would be amazing.
You walk around, you would just have like a little couple of second loop of a GIF just on your pants all the time.
Showing how you feel.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be a way to indicate your consent.
Maybe. There'd just be like a big thumbs up that would come up on your thigh.
Yeah. Or even on your right there.
Yeah, okay.
It could be GIF underpants.
Yeah.
It could be right on top.
Absolutely. It'd just be like the new like Facebook emotions. You can just have pant emotions.
You could be
you
like...
can have a little button. You can be like, oh, I'm feeling grumpy, and just have like, you know, grumpy pants. Literal grumpy pants.
Yeah. Like you could see someone you're not attracted to and then a GIF of a smokestack collapsing plays on your underpants.
Yeah.
And everyone would then...
Or just a flower wilting.
Yeah, everyone would then want to wear them on the outside. And then Superman might even start wearing them again because it would be like... I don't know if he would have GIF underpants, though.
Probably not. He's a classic type, so I just don't... I feel that he would go retro.
You know, my fear is that it would end up being used for advertising. Like non-skippable ads. So you'd be like... My, that's a tasty burger, and then like a Hungry Jack's ad would like play on the crotch, and you
also like Wi-Fi connected pants, and they
like
would
they're listening.
Yeah,
Your pants are
okay,
listening
maybe that's not
to what's happening.
The best. Yeah, okay, right.
And
No, I just want pants you can just load a GIF onto them, like with your personal mobile device, and you can just choose what GIF you want your pants to be that day.
Like you eat a burrito and then you go, Bert, and then like suddenly a picture of Bert from Sesame Street like gets image searched on your pants. Can you imagine that?
Well, you know, Siri's working overtime.
You don't have to imagine it, listeners. We're imagining it for you and creating...
And in about 20 years, you'll be wearing them.
A vivid little production in our theatre of the mind. So that's our future prediction. You know, back when it reached Back to the Future Day last year, a lot of people were making future predictions.
Yeah.
I think that one has legs sticking out of the holes in the bottom of it, of that idea. All right, so we're going to talk about all those trailers. And I need one little bit of news, and this is all the news you need to talk about this week, is the official announcement that there will indeed be an Indiana Jones 5 or a V or Versus, according to Batman v Superman law. And it will come out in the year of our Lord 2017.
Man, I hope Harrison survives that long.
And well, he's been trying to get out. So maybe
of life.
Maybe this is his last little commitment, though.
God, I hope so. Like, just fucking relax, man. Or just let him relax.
I'm excited about this. I think that they want to do for Indy what they did for Star Wars, essentially. They don't want it to end on a sour note. They want to give Harrison Ford a proper send-off, give him a movie that's far stronger than the last one. Because the problem with the last one, I've talked about this at great lengths before. Like, imagine some really long lengths. Olympic swimming pool, football field, longer than that.
Okay.
So people say things like, oh, it's because he nuked the fridge. It's because there were the CGI monkeys. That's not why that movie sucks. That movie sucks because the whole third act, Indiana Jones has nothing to do. It takes away all his agency and just has him bumbling around with a whole bunch of people, and he pretty much just observes things that happen. Whereas at least the fridge, he did something. That was him going, I'm being ingenious and inventive and doing something. So they need to fix that. I imagine, just like with Force Awakens, we're not going to be hearing about Mutt Williams and stuff like that. You know, they're going to cut all that out. And I wouldn't be surprised if it provides a definitive ending for the character. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some new characters that are actually decent characters that do have legs to carry on future stories. Because they've said there's not going to be someone else becoming Indiana Jones. But what if within that universe there was someone else? Obviously, it wasn't going to be Shia LaBeouf, the way that all went. So who's it going to be? I don't know. He'll have someone else. But the thing is, it'll probably be set in the 60s.
Yeah, well, given the age that he would be there,
So maybe it'll be John Lennon or someone.
Maybe
We'll take over.
The mystery of John Lennon's missing glasses or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't die. He just went on an adventure.
Going on an adventure!
An exciting adventure into the wild. So I'm curious. I think they've got very smart people involved these days.
Yeah, I admit when I first heard the news, I was a bit like, well, can we just let it be? Let's let Harrison just be an old man in his little fucking chair in the sun and not do any more action movies. But look, I'll go and see it. I love Indiana Jones. I admit I've still never seen number 4 and have no plans to.
Have you really never seen it?
Never saw it.
Oh, you should watch it. It's definitely watchable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I never saw it because when it came out, it was not like I wasn't going to the movies that much then.
Oh, no, there's
and then
some cool
everyone
stuff.
was like, it's garbage, so I just never watched it.
No, there's some cool stuff in it. It falls like a bit flat, but it's kind of camp in that way that Temple of Doom is camp, you know?
I think I have it. I think I bought all of them on Blu-ray.
Yeah, no,
and
watch
I just
it.
never watched it. Yeah.
There's some cool bits.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's just...
to be sure.
Not particularly satisfying. But, you know, you forget that everybody had huge fears about Star Wars up until December. Mm-hmm. And now suddenly it's all, Star Wars is back. We're looking forward to whatever new Star Wars stuff you're going to do. Great. But that's a pretty new thing that we're finally at that point.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't look like that was going to happen for a while there. And there were people that were like, this is going to be garbage. And, you know, people don't know. They don't know anything.
People love to say that shit is garbage before they see it. It's like, I imagine on Facebook that is in people's hobbies section.
Saying that stuff will definitively be terrible.
Yes.
Even though they're going to go see it anyway.
Psychic.
Yeah.
Savants.
Which is weird because there are movies coming out all the time. So why don't we talk about the movies that we've seen and talk about what we thought about them rather than worry about whether the movies we're going to see in a week's time are going to be awful.
Well, you know.
I guess, because beyond deciding I'm going to see this or not,
Yeah.
you know, what do you got to lose?
Exactly.
Anyway.
Well, probably about $30, depending on which cinema you go to.
True. So, look, I'm excited about that. George Lucas is not going to be involved with this one. He's not going to be doing the story, so it's a creation that exists outside of that.
But what has George Lucas been doing this week?
He has been enjoying a Diet Coke and a plate of noodles in one of Adelaide, down here in South Australia, a food court.
Yes.
Just,
Just casually hanging out, just having his lunch.
no entourage, by himself, no fancy restaurant. He's down there in the food court of a shopping centre in Adelaide, just enjoying some noodles.
When this picture first came out, I thought it was one of those joke ones, like, oh, here's a chubby guy with a white grey beard, and oh, it's George Lucas, and I went, oh, okay, that's very silly. And then no, it was coming from the news websites that it is 100% definitely him, because wasn't his wife here for a speaking engagement or something?
Yeah, I don't think it was in Adelaide, but his wife was in Australia, so it does seem to be legit. I think it definitely very much, I believe that it was him, it looked like him. I just think, like, that's the life now of a guy that has unburdened himself of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Who
Probably for him, it's just really fucking nice to go to Adelaide and just sit in a food court and have his Diet Coke and have no one bother him, except for taking sneaky pics on their iPhones.
But do you think there's a naive kind of thing there where he's like, Adelaide, South Australia, they're not going to know who I am because they only know about Skippy the Bush Kangaroo and Paul Hogan. I'll be able to just blend in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think you would have to approach him, wouldn't you? Like, I don't want to interrupt the guy having his noodles, but that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I don't know. I think if I was in a food court in Adelaide and I saw that guy there, I wouldn't believe that it was George Lucas in the food court. Like, if I went down to Carousel, my local food court, and George Lucas was there, I would go, that surely cannot be George Lucas, because why is he here? And I think that is a reasonable...
But we really do have a very strong idea of what George Lucas looks like. And in person, I think you would know. I would have to, just because it's a once in... I feel like I would have to sit opposite him and just go, has anybody ever told you that you look a lot like George Lucas?
I would sit at a table near him and hope that, like, his phone would ring or something so that he'd answer it and he'd speak.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, okay, this is probably George Lucas? Yeah. I probably wouldn't approach him anyway, because I would just feel bad. He's just sitting there having his lunch.
I know,
and it's his space, his time.
Once in a lifetime, and he's out there in public. But then again, like, you've got nothing to talk to him about. Like, what can be said about Star Wars that he hasn't already been said a billion times?
Yeah.
And, like...
I don't know.
He doesn't need to hear someone go, I'm a big Star Wars fan. He's going to go, no shit, like...
You're a person, you're alive.
You're a person on this earth. I don't know. I just like to think that I would charm him, and then within,
You'd be best friends, and then you get invited to Skywalker Ranch, and...
he had a big plate of noodles there. I don't know if you've seen Lady and the Tramp. But I just think perhaps there was an opportunity. I would just be like,
And then you just pop a little meatball out from under his chin.
Those noodles look good. Wouldn't you even be tempted to just be like, he's sitting there with his noodles, he's wrapping them around, and you go, George, may the fork be with you! Because he's using a fork, and then run away, laughing.
No, because I don't know what his aim's like, and he might throw the fork at me.
Oh, wouldn't that be great, though?
He just have a wound
I saw
in
George
the back
Lucas
of his
and
head.
he used the fork on me. He did a fork push into my thigh. Sat on me for 20 minutes until security arrived. It was amazing. Anyway,
I asphyxiated, and the world went like the going through hyperspace.
yeah. So let's just see how all that goes. Now let's talk about trailers. There were quite a few. Some for movies that we hadn't seen anything from before, and then a couple of sort of updated trailers for things that we did know was coming down the pipe. The updates were X-Men got a new trailer. This is X-Men Apocalypse, of course.
Yeah, a lot of new kind of images in there, which were interesting. We got to look at Apocalypse minus the Apocalypse get-up.
Yes.
which was fun. There's a little bit of... is it Havoc, the one with the push in his chest? He's the other Summers brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, and because you see Scott in the original trailer and Havoc in the new ones. That'll be interesting if they're both in there. And yeah, a little bit more Magneto stuff. Yeah.
No Jubilee in action.
No.
And
Interesting. Maybe she's one of the ones that'll get dispatched a bit early on.
Well, she wasn't on the poster. They couldn't fit her on there with all those white people.
Her earrings were too big.
That's true. I didn't want to just put this big splash of yellow on it.
Yeah. Would have messed up the whole aesthetic.
I'm talking about her jacket, of course, if anybody doesn't know the character.
Well, yeah, obviously, yes. Of course.
I
didn't even realise.
What's the song?
Oh, Coldplay. I don't know what the actual song is called. It's the We Live in a Beautiful World.
No,
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Supposed to be ironic because it looks like
about to get ripped the fuck up.
Going to shit.
Yeah.
There's rubble and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if
maybe they want to save their beautiful world.
Because I stood up and looked at the screen and said, "Are you having a Lent?"
You stood up in your house when you were watching it on your computer?
Yeah, I did. Yep. I did. I stood up and I said, "Are you having a Lent?" Because it looks pretty... It doesn't look like the perfect environment to me. Mm-hmm. Might want to think about that next time you're cutting a trailer together. And there was a minute of new Warcraft footage. Well, some of it's new. For the Warcraft movie, which we keep forgetting's coming out.
Yeah, when is that coming out? It's not
June, apparently, according to that little snippet. It was more of a TV spot.
Yeah, it was meant to be coming out early. We should have already had it, I think, and then it got pushed back.
So this is based on the video game series, and it's got a bit of orc versus human action. I still think this is just such a hard sell for people that don't know what Warcraft is. Because it doesn't...
It looks generic, but it's kind of generic because a lot of things have been based off it since.
There's just no character in it. And there hasn't been in any of the... Like, no one's particularly identifiable, whether it's a human or an orc. You know, they all kind of look like all the humans kind of look the same and all the orcs kind of look the same. And the orcs are, like, screaming and the humans are just tight-lipped and serious. And there's nothing selling you on a story or a character. Like, who do you hitch your little trailer to in that thing? Nobody.
Well, not in the new stuff. Isn't the old one they show you the orc guy?
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that they're all fighting together against some common threat or something. Isn't that what it is?
I mean, I'm looking forward to it because I played the game and I'm the biggest thing I get a kick out of on the trailers is going, oh, that's Stormwind. You know, that's that area out the back where the docks are and stuff like that. But, you know, not everybody's going to feel that. So, yeah, I think that's a tough one. There's some, like, big action stuff in there, but I don't know. Not that exciting yet. I think it's going to struggle. I think that it's one of those things that if it came out far earlier and I don't mean like by months, I mean they've been talking about this for years and years. If it came out in that height of Warcraft and that sort of time when we're not saturated with genre movies that people are already invested in, because suddenly the big things are all these universes which have been going for a while now and we're all going to see anyway. So I think it's going to have that struggle.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get a lot more invested once more of the merchandising starts. When they did that reveal at, was it New York Comic Con or SDCC or something, and they had the big massive statues and all of that sort of thing, and I've seen some of they released some images of like Weta is doing the merchandising for these guys, and everything just looks fucking wicked. Even if the movie's shit, all the armor collections and all that kind of stuff is going to be awesome.
And then the new stuff that we saw the trailers for, we got the trailer for Seth Rogen and Company's animated feature, R-rated animated feature, Sausage Party.
Yeah, so it's written by Seth and Jonah Hill and somebody else that I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. Is this getting released, like a wide release?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, alright. So yeah, it's like anthropomorphized food, basically, and they're at a supermarket and they're all hoping that they get chosen to get taken home by a person But then once they get home, they realise that that is ultimately going to be their demise because they'll get eaten and chopped up and all that sort of thing.
Lots of horrible things will happen to them.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like a premise is fairly funny. I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously, it's a very short trailer, so I cannot make any judgments. It just seems like something that I don't know they'll necessarily sustain that over 2.5 hours, 2 hours. And it does just seem like something that Jonah Hill thought up when he was very stoned, and Sony said, have some money.
Did the script leak?
It did. And I read a bit of it. I kind of skipped a few pages, read a bit, skipped a few pages. Lots of dick jokes, which I shouldn't be surprised at all, given that the movie is called Sausage Party. And I really shouldn't have expected anything more than a script full of dick jokes, to be honest.
I read the first couple of pages, and I don't know how old that version is. I think it's 2014 or something, but obviously these movies take a while to make. What I think where the script suffered compared to the trailer is the trailer does that wonderful sort of switcheroo on you. Like, it feels like a kid's movie at the beginning, and it feels sort of really wholesome, and then suddenly as this violence happens towards these vegetables and fruits and things and meats, you get that, oh fuck, and they start swearing and everything. Whereas all those early scenes in the supermarket in the script, they're all swearing straight away all the time anyway. It's very clearly an R-rated thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll see it.
Oh, we'll see it, definitely, but it's not... Yeah, look, let's say if we weren't doing this podcast, I probably wouldn't go and see Sausage Party. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't know, but we've gone and seen pretty much all of that group's films, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that would get me there. I mean, Night Before or whatever it was called was not that good.
Bland. It wasn't memorable.
It wasn't awful.
No, it was entertaining enough. And I'm sure it's not going to be up against Civil War or something. I'm sure
It'll be the little short before Civil War. It'll be a 10-minute sausage party.
Squeeze out at an appropriate time. And we also got the trailer for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. This is Tim Burton's latest joint. The trailer, some of the text that comes up says, something like, welcome to a world unlike anything you've ever seen, assuming you've never seen a film by visionary director Tim Burton.
Yes. Or you've never seen or read an X-Men comic.
Yeah. So this is based on a book, sort of quite popular YA book. And yeah, it's basically these kids with special abilities that live in a home run by the wacky Mrs. Peregrine, who can turn into a bird, and is played by Eva Green. And it very, very much looks like a Tim Burton film.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
It's got Ender in it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll end up seeing this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it looks really nice.
It looks fine.
But yeah, like I haven't read the book or anything like that, but I'm watching the trailer.
I hear the book's quite good.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I'm watching the trailer and thinking, well, I only just saw the X-Men trailer the other day, and there's a lot going on there that really seems the same.
The thing I kind of wonder about with Tim Burton films, but then it does make them Tim Burton films, is there's such a kind of styling of hair and makeup and costume and everything that it's just like, I'm looking at Miss Peregrine and I'm like, does she get up in the morning and do this? Or is her hair just magically like that?
Probably magic. Well, if she can turn into like a falcon, then she probably does have some magic hair thing.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's all those people in Tim Burton films that have this incredibly constructed look. And so it's very, very hard to ever find any believability in them.
Yeah.
And
I wonder who Johnny Depp's going to cameo as.
Yeah, the Peregrine. He can do anything now that he's been Donald Trump.
The Helena Bonham Carter's definitely not going to be in it.
No. Eva Green feels like a bit of a, I don't know, almost too obvious choice for me, in a way. Just in that sort of like Penny Dreadful kind of thing that she's been doing. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to imagine I know you're saying, well, this is a fantasy thing, Luke. This is a listener. They're going, but this is a fantasy thing. What do you mean it's not believable? But the best fantasy has believability at its core. Like, at least characters that feel like they exist in that world and live in that world and are part of that world. I don't care how fucking far-fetched that world is, as long as everybody within it believes in it 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Hunger Games, it's like, oh, does Effie Trinket get up every morning and do her hair? Yes, she does.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, she absolutely
and
does.
We saw her on the train and stuff. We saw
Yeah.
her when she started to lose some of that veneer, and that was good. And not everybody looked like that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If everybody looked like that and had that level of styling all the time without any explanation, then it would feel false.
Yeah.
But that's her character. That's something that comes out there. So, yeah, I just, come on, Burton, pull it together. But then, would Edward Scissorhands be a better movie if his look wasn't so constructed, or Beetlejuice or something? The answer, I think, is no. I think that's what makes those movies and those characters. So I don't know. I don't know, Tim Burton. You're going to have to figure this one out on your own.
And he's like, sure, Luke.
He's like, whew, what a relief. Now, also, Ben-Hur got a trailer.
Yeah, it did. I'd been seeing this coming up on the upcoming movies list for months and months and months, and had, there was no trailer, there was no chat about who had been cast in it or anything like that. For good reason. There is Morgan Freeman is in it.
Yep.
But apart from him, it's pretty much a big cast of nobodies.
Toby Kebbell.
Oh, yeah, but...
He was bloody bad monkey and the best monkey in Planet of the Apes.
Uh-huh.
And he was Dr. Doom in Fan Four Sticks.
Yeah, he was, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I like him.
Yeah, but when he's the second biggest actor in your movie,
What's Jack Houston been in?
I actually looked him up, and I thought that I'd seen him in a bunch of things, but apparently I had not. I've seen him in The Longest Ride, apparently, but I couldn't tell you which one he was.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've remade Ben-Hur. I think apparently, according to the IMDb trivia, Tom Hiddleston was offered the lead role of this one, and turned it down to do Skull Island, which is the King Kong remake.
Oh, well.
So, yeah. Yeah, I really like Ben-Hur. I really like the original movie, so I was curious about this one. It's pretty much the same thing. It's still got the big slave ship thing that they show you in the trailer. It's still got the chariot race, which they show you in the trailer. I don't think it's really going to rock anybody's world or make anybody desperately go and see a Ben-Hur remake. It probably didn't need a remake, to be fair, and they're not bringing anything probably significantly new to it. Like, as shitty as Clash of the Titans was, obviously technology improved a significant amount since they were doing stop motion animation back in the old days, and so sure, if you want to have a go at all of that with new technology, this probably, I guess it means that less horses die by making them CGI.
Yeah, though I did read that the catering was pretty much exclusively horse meat, so it kind of balanced out in the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what country they were shooting in. Maybe that was just a regional thing.
Uzbekistan. I don't know why I'm picking on Uzbekistan. It just came into my head.
So yeah, I will be keen to see it on the big screen. I imagine it'll be quite spectacular, but it probably won't be bigger than Ben-Hur.
Well, look, you've just hit the nail on the head. It doesn't excite me at all, because I feel like the question should be, even the tagline should be Ben-Hur, bigger than Ben-Hur.
Well, I mean, the whole point of Ben-Hur in the late 50s is that it was, unbelievable. The big action sequences in this movie were just stuff that had just never been done before.
But not even that. They built massive, massive sets.
Yeah.
They did these incredible things. And this feels instantly smaller than Ben-Hur because it's got some impressive CGI shots, but they're not impressive in the sense that they don't sort of grip me on a personal level. They don't engage me in that way because they're not about people. The best stuff's about people, but when you just see, sweeping shots of boats in the sea and things like that, they're not character-driven shots, so there is a sort of fakiness to it. I don't mean, because the graphics look like they're from the fucking PlayStation or anything like that. I just mean, that stuff's not there. And then the stuff that is there, the human stuff, really, quality-wise, looks like an episode of Game of Thrones. It really does. It looks like they even shot in some of the same locations on some of those street scenes. Yeah. And that's great for Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones looks really good, but for something, a big screen Ben-Hur, it's just not enough. When you're seeing that whole... And I'm becoming more aware of that in films now. I think Gods of Egypt was certainly like that for me as well. That you can tell that the real stuff they've got is very, very small. It's really just actors in a very small space. and everything else is not real and not really being interacted with. Like, there's a big divide between the practical stuff and the scenes we're getting with the actors, and then the sort of cut to big sweeping dressing thing. And I find that to be a problem. I need that integration. I'm all for big CGI crazy worlds and stuff, but I need it to be really entwined with what the characters are doing and the actual story. Can't just be dressing, and I don't think it's managing that.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I understand that, like, basically nobody else is. As you can imagine, the comments threads after this trailer, not very positive. So I guess, really at the end of the day, like, did you need to be spending money on remaking Ben-Hur when you could be financing something else original? Because surely Ben-Hur's not going to make them very much money. Like, who's going to go and see Ben-Hur, apart from me?
Yeah, it's not, is it? You just know it's not. And that's so strange to me that these things do get greenlit and that they do assume that there's big audiences for this stuff. Even with, like, Gods of Egypt, you know, what made them think, oh, people are really into this? And there's a lot of movies like that every year and they fail, and you're like...
Who is making these decisions?
Yeah, like, who thought the world was clamouring for a $200 million Jack and the Beanstalk movie, for example? You know? Like, who thinks that? It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. I guess there's that whole...
It's something like Ben-Hur, you're not even going to get a franchise out of it. Like, something like Three Musketeers, you can rationalise that maybe you'll get, if it does well, a trilogy or something out of it. Ben-Hur, that's where it ends. Yeah, it's not going beyond that.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, it seems like... So you certainly can understand then why they continue to mine franchises and bring back things like Ghostbusters and stuff, because... That's the reality, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever side you fall on. But that's what is going to draw a crowd. That's what people are going to see. We're invested in these existing things, but they're quite specific things. It's not just anything. Okay, now talk about this last one.
All right, so the trailer dropped this week for Dead 7, which is a Western zombie movie being made on the Sci-Fi Network, being released on April Fool's Day, which I am assuming is not going to be a shitty April Fool's joke, because this movie was announced last year. And that is definitely playing the long game if it is just an April Fool's Day joke.
I think Sharknado used to have the April Fool's spot.
Okay.
Didn't it? So I think it's just what they do with one of their original films.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, it's from Sci-Fi, who gave us Sharknado, and it feels in that kind of very silly spirit, resurrecting stars who perhaps have not... been in the popular culture kind of view for a while. So this was...
Will work for horsemen.
Yeah. This was, I think, produced or written or something by Nick Carter, who is formerly, probably still currently, of the Backstreet Boys. I don't know what their situation is at the moment.
Is Backstreet back?
Well, some of Backstreet is back.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So this is Nick, Howie and AJ from the Backstreet Boys, Chris and Joey from NSYNC, Jeff from 98 Degrees, and some of the members from O-Town, who I don't know who they were because they...
You're on a streak.
They were never popular here.
Is that because they gave the women big old O's?
No, it's because they were from Orlando, so that's why they're called O-Town.
I bet they gave them big old O's in their G's, in their V's. With their G's.
Anyway, so this is a very, very, very silly movie. It looks very shitty, but it also doesn't look like it takes itself very seriously. So I'm very much looking forward to it, and I think it will be a lot of fun.
But is it a very silly movie? Like, every time they do something where you think, oh, this could be really exploitative fun, like, it's never funny. Like, I feel like... You know, Sharknado is not an earnest bad movie in the way that The Room or Birdemic is.
Yeah.
So why isn't it at least as fast and funny as something like Dude Bro Party Massacre 3? You know, that's what it should be. But instead, they tend to be quite dull for a lot of the time.
I think Sharknado was the best one. I think 2 was not very good. 3 was maybe a little bit better. I can't remember how they went now.
But, like... this trailer doesn't really have any jokes. It doesn't even have any really sort of clear shots of any of the people in it.
They're all so old now. They just kind of sweep across their faces. And like, I think that was Howie. I don't know.
And they're all wearing, of course, they've all got like scruffy beards and cowboy hats on.
Yeah.
But there's no jokes or anything in the trailer, or are there any thrills or scares? It just looks like the cheapest piece of shit.
Well, I think the whole point of the trailer is to go, hey, is not to even go, hey, this is a zombie western movie. It's to go, hey, here are a whole bunch of 90s boy band members. You should watch this thing. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for.
No, you're absolutely right. And they've done it as cheaply as possible by hiring the cheapest actors as possible.
And, like, they're not even the good members of the boy bands. You know what I mean? Like, if they'd got Justin Timberlake, great.
Yeah.
But they got the two shittest ones from NSYNC.
I think I was expecting something maybe a little bit more, and perhaps that was foolish. But
It's a Sci-Fi Channel original movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Shot on an iPhone.
Yeah.
By a blind man. Speaking of blind man.
Oh, what a segue! We just wheeled that segue right into the room.
I'm riding around on my Segway. Yeah, Daredevil season 2 has begun. So we may as well talk about this first.
Yeah, well, look.
Otherwise, that's a waste of a segue.
That is a very wasteful. We just have to like plug it in to charge it in the corner and then get it back later.
It'd be pretty embarrassing to sheepishly put away that segue just to wheel it
so
out
big.
again later.
It's so unwieldy, sure.
So Daredevil season 2, obviously Netflix original Daredevil season 1 was a big hit. It was a surprise hit.
It was.
It was something that really made that character interesting. It had an incredibly interesting villain.
Yes.
It was very refreshing. It looked great. He didn't get his suit right until the end, but everybody was just on the edge of their seat.
Yep.
And again, all 13 episodes have dropped at once because it's Netflix. And at the time of recording this, it only dropped last night.
Yep.
Or yesterday evening. And so we realise that everybody's still sort of getting into it. A lot of people are talking about it. I know a lot of people are watching it, but, some people are a couple of episodes in. I haven't heard of many people being that far in, certainly in our group.
Yep.
You have watched 3?
I watched 3 last night, yes.
And I have watched 7.
Okay.
And obviously we're not going to spoil anything, so don't worry about that. We're just going to give our impressions on it and talk general stuff, but no sort of major plot things. Not that I believe there's a huge amount to spoil. I'm actually a little bit disappointed in this season. And I'm kind of surprised to be in this position where I'm saying that, because I was looking forward to it. And my problem is because it still looks great. It's got high production values. I really love seeing him in the suit. I think they've made that work really well. I like Charlie Cox a lot. I like John Bernthal as the Punisher. I think he's a very sort of intriguing character, but he's an intriguing character in the sense that you feel, oh, there's so much potential here. What's going to happen? And that's the whole thing about this series, because we know it's Punisher, we know it's Elektra, we know it's Daredevil. You're like, oh, great, all these crazy things are going to happen. I'm finding the whole thing really straightforward and kind of cliched in a way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. There's one particular scene, which my dislike of this series is really hinging on this one scene, and everything's coming back to it. But there's a scene where they're talking, Frank Castle, Punisher, and Matt, Daredevil, obviously, are talking, and Matt just seems to be throwing just all this cliche bullshit at the Punisher, and he is reacting in a normal human way and just be going, well, no, that's not how it is, or you don't understand, or, just really reacting in a decent way. And Matt just keeps continuing to throw this horrible, badly written bullshit at him. And I'm like, I just couldn't deal with that scene. It was killing me.
A lot of awful dialogue, unfortunately. There's characters saying, like, to the point where I'm kind of laughing a lot at just the shitty things that a character says. There was one that Karen said, which just, I really just laughed, and I wish I'd written it down. Something about, what's the city?
Shooting their way out of problems or something.
The city drives people to want to shoot their way out of problems or something like that.
Yeah.
Daredevil says stuff like, you act like you've got a window into my soul, but you don't. and you never will. It's just crazy shit that it doesn't have that human element.
And like, no one's saying that, the writing last season was perfect, but most of the shitty stuff last season was restricted to Foggy, and this time it's not just restricted to Foggy, even though Foggy still sucks.
It's really ham-fisted, and it's dealing with things that are so well-mined in comics. I don't want to watch a whole season of people going, you don't have the right to kill people. Who are you to decide? That's for the law to figure out, etc. and debate. Oh, but maybe what he's doing is effective, and that sort of back and forth.
And that seems to be, I've only watched a few episodes, but that seems to be happening every single episode over and over and over.
Yeah, and it will definitely continue.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, which I think is unfortunate. A lot of things as well, and this was in the trailer, that whole, the only difference between you and me is one bad day, which we said at the time is pulled from Killing Joke. But the great thing about Killing Joke, the Batman Joker story written by Alan Moore, is that that's the Joker's thesis, and he acts upon that thesis and puts Commissioner Gordon through all this shit in order to prove to Batman that he can change someone. There's a reason for that thesis, whereas...
Yeah, but the thing is, that whole thing is summed up in that one line, yet they still debate it endlessly.
The other thing is, if you know anything about these characters, just on a rudimentary level, which you would, you should know what the Punisher's MO is, why he punishes people, how he punishes people, and why he is doing it. What his reasons are. And the reason you probably know this is because there's been at least 3 Punisher movies, and he's in comics and cartoons and TV and all this sort of stuff. So... that's not new information. And yet, it must take at least 4 hours to get that very simple character motivation out to the watcher. And these characters just don't have anywhere to go. What I loved about Jessica Jones was David Tennant's powers were so interesting that it put you into all these stressful situations where you didn't know how characters were going to deal with it, what he was going to do next, but Daredevil solves every problem by punching it, and Punisher solves every problem by shooting at it.
Yeah.
And they just don't have anywhere to go. It just becomes circular. So I'm over halfway in now, and I've not been surprised once. There's never been that moment where I've gone, oh crap, I can't believe this is happening now. Or not even that sort of, even just pure adrenaline kind of action thing. I remember in the first season, that episode that begins with him fighting the ninja, and you're like, oh shit, this is cool. There's not even been that, and there should be, because all the best TV shows, something like Fargo or whatever, gives me that moment a couple of times an episode where I'm like, oh, fuck, now that's happening? Or, the stakes keep raising or changing or twisting.
Yeah, there was something that happened, I think, in episode 2 that I sort of went, oh, okay, that's interesting, but then it really resolved itself very quickly.
Yeah, so I want to be surprised. I want to be shocked. I want to be like, oh, I can't believe you're taking it there. And for at least half of this thing, they haven't done that at all. In fact, I found a lot of stuff to be incredibly telegraphed. I knew when Elektra was going to appear 5 minutes before she did, because it was the absolute cliched way to do it. And I was like, and here's Elektra. And then it was. It happened exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah.
And the Elektra being the only character we haven't talked about now, I hate to say this because I'm a big advocate for the female characters. I tend to really enjoy the female characters. I think she's awful. I don't like her at all. You're not up to her yet.
No.
But I don't like her one bit. She's one of the... I don't know if it's the writing or the acting even, or the choice, the casting, but I just can't... It doesn't work for me. She's very one note, and she's that kind of character that tries to be sexy by saying things like, oh, who's a naughty boy then? And I'm like, oh, no, that's no. Oh, what do we have here? And it's like, oh, shut up. It reminds me of, when we were teenagers before the internet, getting these softcore porn videos from the video store.
Yes.
And the only ones where you got to see fully naked women were these British ones. And you would have to watch with the sound down, because they'd be like, oh, I'm so horny. Oh, I feel like my pussy's on fire. They sounded like Henry's cat. So she's just got this kind of, oh, oh, who's a naughty boy then? And you're like, shut up!
Oh, well, I've got that to look forward to then.
And she just slowed everything down for me. Like, I really became... Punisher was keeping me curious. I want to know, where are you going to take this? And look, poor Josh Bernthal. John. Yeah. Poor John Bernthal, because I don't know his name. No, but poor John Bernthal, I think he's just like Charlie Cox is. He's acting the shit out of it. He's giving it his all.
Yeah, I'm for all the shit that we're hanging on this show, I am really enjoying John Bernthal.
I am enjoying... Look, I'm enjoying the show. I'm entertained by it, but I'm disappointed because it should be great. And I think what the difference here is that first season really had that potential... Well, not even potential, it did it. It was a crossover show. It was that sort of show that people who don't read comics and aren't really invested in that sort of lore, that find that stuff to be more adolescent, they were able to go, oh no, I've been watching Daredevil, it's really cool.
Because it was a revengey crime show. But that's it's a genre that other people can relate to a bit more.
Well,
this is just
still a revengey crime show,
but it's more
literally
comic-y.
so.
But this is much more comic-y than...
I just don't see how a lot of adults who aren't invested in this kind of world what their hook is that would keep them here. Because
it feels
really,
like something character-y on the level of something like Arrow.
And I don't know if it's the fault of the fact that you're watching 13, they put out 13 episodes at a time, so they don't have to sell you on individual episodes and they can really stretch things out. Jessica Jones, which I enjoyed, definitely suffered from that problem of being a story that was stretched out too much. But it shouldn't be 7 hours of this where the only big ethical moral debate is it right to kill someone? Or I'm not like you kill people, whereas I'm trying to be a good guy and I'm trying to, we know that. We know that stuff. We've heard that stuff a billion times. And you can't, beat that poor horse for that long a time and expect that, I can't imagine someone that watches something that craves that sort of level of surprise and depth of something like Fargo or House of Cards or something like that is going to find that in this season, because it's more of a simplistic action show where the characters are very ham-fisted and talk repeatedly about things that should be pretty obvious to most people. So, yeah, kind of a shame. I'm obviously going to stick with it. I probably will finish the season before the weekend is out.
Yeah, we'll do another little short wrap-up next week, once we've finished it all.
It has just gotten into... Something's just kind of happened which made me curious, where I was like, okay, now you're starting to get into something where I don't know where it's going to go. And look, it kind of would make sense with 13 episodes that you introduce everyone, understand what they're all about in the first half, and then really get to play with those pieces you've set up in the second half. I mean, remember, Game of Thrones even did that in that last season. It was kind of quite slow-paced. It was setting all the pieces up, and then the second half really ramped up. So, I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, this is a first impressions. This isn't a review of the whole thing. Yeah. But, I don't know if it was just a matter of the show was so successful and they were so eager to, get in there again and get more product out, and... I don't know if it's a limitation of those characters they've chosen. I mean, the Punisher is such a simple character. How do you... His characterization's good. And I like his consistency and kind of... What I'm really enjoying about him is despite how, rough as guts he is, he's got an integrity about him. And he actually does school characters in an interesting way at times. But... he's still stuck with this ham-fisted calling him Red and doing this voice which is sometimes so gruff and...
It's like Marvel's Batman voice.
And some of the fucking supporting cast are even worse, just some of the minor characters, the dialogue they have to say... Oh, look, so let's save it for... We'll do a spoilery one or something later, because there's really specific examples which just put me off. So it's unfortunate, because I want it to be great, and it's just good. And hopefully I'll be turned around, because I'm sure, I don't know. I was curious, I had a look on Metacritic just to see, and it was a bit more lukewarm. It was less, not many people have seen it yet, but it was certainly less than the first season, and there was more mixed. People going, it's not really working. I think that the comic sites and nerd sites are going to say that it's fantastic and that it's awesome, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to be inevitable. But
Yeah, I guess on one hand, like, I would rather have it and have it maybe not be 100% perfect than have them go, well, no, we're just not going to do Daredevil anymore.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And what I also hope is that if it does become a consensus that this was a bit weaker, that they take that on board and do something a little bit more complex next time.
Yeah, well, they haven't taken on board the fact that everybody fucking hates Foggy.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I kind of warmed up to Foggy a little bit towards the end of last season because he stopped being such a whiny little bitch. And he started off this season as a whiny little bitch, and I'm just like, oh god, can we just... Oh, he's had a whole season to reconcile the fact that his friend goes out and fights bad guys, and sometimes bad things are going to happen. But no, he's still very, very hung up on that. So, goddamn.
And he needs a haircut.
He sure does need a haircut.
Fucking, what are you trying to prove, Foggy? You're in a courtroom. Be professional. So, there was that. And then, just to wrap up, wanted to talk about 10 Cloverfield Lane, which we're a little late to this party, but we saw it this morning.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it came out only last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the spiritual successor to Cloverfield. It is not a sequel. It is not related in any way, apart from kind of loosely thematically that idea of...
Something has happened.
Something has happened and you're looking at it from a very unique, personal, human perspective.
Yeah.
Not from the Matthew Broderick that's going to save the world, but from some people that are kind of affected by it.
Yeah.
And it stars John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And really... This was the film that was announced a couple of weeks before it came out, pretty much. And that seems to be because the whole thing is about keeping the integrity of that mystery box. And in fact, we've never seen this before in a movie. They did even flash up a slide at the beginning saying that the filmmakers respectfully ask that you don't reveal the ending in social media or in your reviews. And it definitely trades on you going in as blind as possible, not knowing what this is about and just going along for the ride.
I think actually seeing that slide was almost a hindrance because it made me try and spend the entire movie trying to work out what this incredible twist or whatever was going to be.
Yeah, and that's always problematic because you're going to think of 10 different things and it can only be at the most one of them.
Yes.
So, there's always going to be that shift in what it is and what you expect it to be. So, in a way, we can't really talk about the plot, but we'll say, if you're thinking, well, what kind of film is it? It's sort of like an intense thriller, psychological thriller.
Yeah, it's sort of we can't say anything about it, really. Like, what you've seen from the trailer, they're in kind of a bunkery kind of thing,
situation.
And then stuff happens. Like
they're in a bunker in the trailer, but you don't know the relationship between them all.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to talk about any of that. You need to see it. I would just say that if you're up for like a kind of tense, interesting thriller, and the sort of film which doesn't follow that Hollywood formula where you are going to be guessing what's happening and you are going to be thinking about things and things are going to change. And it's a bit of a slow burn at times as well.
It is, yeah.
But it kind of needs to be. Then I think it's actually really successful. I think, whether or not you want to go on board with the ending and all that sort of stuff is going to be very individual.
Yeah, I didn't love the ending, but I understand why they did the ending.
And I would have been disappointed if something like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I can understand exactly where you're coming from. I definitely enjoyed it. I really had a good experience. I'm so glad we saw it.
Yeah, John Goodman is amazing.
I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and I thought she was a really wonderful... No, I can't even say that. But just a really wonderful protagonist. I think she really holds her own as a strong character, and I wish that... I'd love to see her in the Marvel Universe or something. She's got a good, deep voice, too. Captain Marvel, let's do it. But she hasn't got blonde hair.
She's got brown hair, and she's not Katie Sackhoff.
I'm sure they can fix that somehow. CGI, maybe. But, yeah... I would recommend it for sure. I think it's one of those things where I'd recommend it more last week because Batman Superman's about to open and all this other stuff, and
Yeah, it's a pretty good...
It's a smaller film.
Yeah, it's a weird time to come out. And if you don't get a chance to see it at the movies, because I feel like it's not one that's going to go huge and crazy and is going to stay in the cinemas much longer.
No, and I imagine it'll have a pretty quick travel to...
Especially with Batman and Superman
home
coming out.
media.
Yeah, if you do get a chance to watch it later on, do it. It's probably not one that you definitely need to see in the cinema.
Yeah.
It's not like a huge, big scale one. It won't suffer from seeing it at home. But do check it out.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I had a great time. It was funny too because I kind of got up and drank a big Coke on Coke Zero. I'm not an animal. On an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Because I'd had some wine last night and I just felt like the right thing to do. And then so I knew I had to pee during the film.
There was no good place to pee.
And I just kept going like, oh shit. And then I thought, I nearly went then. If I went then, I wouldn't have known this. And then I would have been really like confused.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty tense film and had some good moments. I think it's an achievement.
Yeah.
It's not a top 10 film, but it's a really good ride.
Yeah, it's something different in a ever-growing landscape of genre films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. I liked it. So there you go. That's pretty much the show, right?
It is, yes. Before we go, we'll just give a very quick shout out. After our movie adventure, we did go on a real proper adventure down the freeway down to Spearwood in our city south and visited, what's it called? Fan-based collectibles.
Which is actually in a Video Easy.
Yeah, it's in a Video Easy store.
It is the Video Easy, really.
Yeah. And we went down just for a look. I'd been seeing it on Facebook. And if you are in the area, or even if you're not, this is actually a really great collectible shop. And the owner, Matt, is wonderful. We spoke to him for ages about all the stuff.
I felt like we were interviewing him.
Almost, yeah.
So, Matt, how did you get your start? Okay.
So with all, he's got like so many pops, like even really old
it's
pops.
A place for pop vinyls for sure. They had just everything, and you were able to get your
got my Winter Soldier,
Civil War Winter Soldier,
yeah, which I hadn't seen anywhere else.
And it was the first time I've seen the Black Widow in the wild. I do already have it, but yeah, I mean it's mostly pop vinyls.
Yeah, he said he's going to get into more Hot Toys,
and there were some Hot Toys things there.
And they do lay-bys and loyalty for pop vinyl. If you buy 10, then you get your next one for like $10 or something like that.
6, I think.
Okay, yeah, 6, and you get next one for $10. Yeah, so very, very highly recommended, and I'm definitely going to start buying my stuff from them. Yeah.
I'm going to do just a little. No, I was going to say that if you get onto Marvel Heroes 2016 this weekend, but you won't hear it in time.
Oh, damn.
But they've got they're doing a Daredevil event, so they've got a free Daredevil if you log in. But even though if you miss that, you can still go and buy the Daredevil Netflix costume for your Daredevil, and you can also get the John Bernthal Punisher costume as well, which is pretty cool.
Right.
And not just the costume, it's his head as well, of course.
Yeah,
it's his face and everything. So you can reenact it all. We've been playing Marvel Heroes 2016 on our games nights. We've only ever played with 4 of us at a time, but I think there's at least 8 of us that are on the game. So definitely recommend. That's been really fun, actually, because it's not a game where your because we're on Skype the whole time. Your conversation doesn't have to be about the game. You know, there's that occasional, oh, we need to go here now, or let's go and get this. But you talk about all these things. So we have a really good laugh, and it's been great to get to know people. Like speaking to a friend of the show, Tony. Haven't been having chats with him. He's hilarious. He's he's like the funniest guy. He always one-liners about everything.
Yeah, cool.
Very dry, very cool. So I've really enjoyed that. So on Steam, Marvel Heroes 2016, if you want to join us. I'm just addicted to this thing.
Yes, you fucking are. Next week, what have we got next week, Luke?
We got Batman 5 Superman. Now, this is a movie that so many people are convinced is going to be a piece of shit, and I hope it shits on your heads.
Yeah, well, I'm going to enjoy going see it at the movies in an empty fucking cinema because everybody thinks it's going to be a piece of shit, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
no one will go.
Won't have to listen to all you dickheads talking during the movies.
Well, I will be going with the old Hector Weenus on Tuesday to an advance. So I'm going to see it then. And then I'll see it with you and Suzanne on Thursday.
Yes, we are going on Thursday.
So
Day before Easter Friday. Easter! We get Batman, Superman, and then 4 days off. Amazing.
I think Friday should be quite good, actually, this next week.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah. Not great, just
No.
a good
I
Friday.
think it should be a good one.
Yeah.
Not for Jesus, though.
No, it was a pretty shit time for old Jesus.
I know, and he just, like, I feel like we were just celebrating his birth. Now we're going to celebrate his death? That's a
Yeah.
short life.
It is, yeah. Damn shame.
So,
Dare they put a baby on a crucifix? Oh,
well, saved on nails. They only need one. They're pretty light.
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got
sure.
to put it in the right spot. They put it in his foreskin, and then the Jews were like, "Whoa, we're not risking that."
Oh my god. Oh.
I don't know anything about. Look, Easter to me is rabbits,
Uh-huh.
eggs
Yep.
made of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Usually Game of Thrones. We used to get Game of Thrones like around Easter, but now we're getting it
Well,
at
Easter's
Anzac
early
Day.
this year.
Easter is early this year, so we're getting Game of Thrones on like Anzac Day for all our fallen brothers.
Why isn't Christmas ever early?
Because Jesus was born on a day, but he died according to the moon, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know if we're qualified to.
No,
even
we're not.
talk about this.
Maybe we should.
We'll leave it to the experts.
Yeah, we'll leave it to the expert. I was going to say we'll go talk to somebody about it, but we won't.
Probably won't. No.
Not at all.
Thank you for listening. Please listen to our other shows. You can find everything at fruitlesspursuits.com. Book Was Better is the other show in celebration of Superman, Batman. Hector Weenus and I will be talking about Superman 4. We're going to read that wafer-thin novelization. So that'll be out tomorrow. And when you're listening to it, we'll be actually watching Batman v Superman, which will be exciting. And, you can find links to our Facebook discussion. Rate and review us on iTunes. If you're a big fan, go to Patreon and support us there. We love all of you bum-bums.
And I think the week after we're doing Book Was Better, aren't we?
No.
No?
We can record it,
Yeah, okay.
but
Alright,
no.
Oh, well, we'll all just have to wait for that one.
There'll be we're going to do a Superman book and then a
Yes.
Batman book.
Okay.
And then I think maybe I've got a gap coming up after that. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to, equal sides, equal time for both Superman
absolutely.
and Batman.
Yes.
Not taking sides, because we have to be neutral in these
Of
things.
course,
Because
yes.
that's professional.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Batman Superman
Oh.
socks today. I have Henry Cavill on my left foot, and I have Ben Affleck on the other leg. And these are
Wow.
actual like photo pictures. They're not just like random Batman Superman comic versions. Yes, very happy with that.
Are they gifts?
Not yet. No, we have to wait for the future.
Wow. Gosh, because then they could actually fight.
I could be like,
You could click your heels together like Dorothy and they'd punch each other's lights out.
yeah. I've broken ankles all the time.
Brilliant. All right.
Alright, goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Catch us later. All right.
Dickheads.
Dickheads. If you listen to this whole show, you are a dickhead.